already. You are looking live. It's sold out MetLife Stadium, where today the 16-0 playoff-bound New York Giants are taking on the 0-16 New England Patriots. And why are the New England Patriots 0-16? Because they suck. Ain't no Tom Brady, Bill Belichick gonna save your asses. New England Patriots is a long way back to the Super Bowl. You guys suck. They suck. Oh, man. Back to the 70s, Patriots. Except for 76 when you had a good team. Other than that, baby. Back to the late 60s and the 70s, Patriots. Bye-bye. No more Super Bowl aspirations for you guys. New England Patriots and your fans. You suck. Guess you're going to have to jump off the New England Patriots bandwagon. Oh, who's doing good now? Maybe you jump onto the Kansas City Chiefs bandwagon, right? Huh? What a freaking joke. What a joke. I really wondering how many of those New England Patriot fans, for the past 20 years or so, oh, the Patriots are good. Oh, I'm a Patriot fan, baby. Yeah, woo. I mean, now they're going to start stinking. I wonder, how many of them are going to jump off the bandwagon and find another team to start cheering for. Pack of losers. Anyway, welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there at all going to spend a little bit of time with me here, Stephen? I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. Well, if anybody's going to spend time watching a replay this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. Thank you. I'm going to try to go about 30 minutes here tonight. Shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say, please feel free, fire away. Throw in the chat box. Usually try to check on the chat box like every 5 or 10 minutes. As soon as I see something in there, I try to respond to it as fast as I can. So please feel free and fire away. But plus also, seriously, instead of me just rambling on for half an hour, 45 minutes, or whatever it might wind up being, it's just nice to talk to another Giant fan. Before I get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the description box below, the very top link in the description box takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. Unfortunately, the first one's called the Saquon. Second membership level I got is called the Lawrence Taylor. And the third membership level I got is called the Gridiron. Each one's got their own little perks to them. So if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me. And I thank you in advance. Thank you. If you are subscribed to my channel, once again, thank you. I can use all the support I can get, guys. But if not, please go on below, hit the subscribe button, and hit that bell icon. That way, next time I go live or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. Maybe give this video a thumbs up or share this video. That would be freaking awesome. And if there's a little ways down in the description box, there's 2 additional links. The top one's a Facebook link, which I'll go over in just a second. The link underneath it, I'm an old-time fart. Can't stand change. I like things just the way they are. Don't be mixing stuff too. I'm too much of a moron to start, doing too much thinking. Just keep things just the way they are, right? The link underneath, it's a Twitter link. It's always been Twitter to me, and it will always be Twitter to me. Whatever letter of the alphabet Elon Musk wants me to call it, that's on you, bro. I ain't calling it that. I'm calling it Twitter because it's Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. I'll follow you back. That's an absolute promise. I try to put Giants-related stuff in my Twitter account every day, right? And then the link on top of it takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. It's doing simply marvelous, might I add. We have over 8,400 members in the group. It's doing great. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing and if I have internet access, basically I'm putting stuff in this group darn near 365. I just added a few posts, some pictures that they had taken during OTAs today. I just added like 4 or 5 pictures. So basically, as I said, I'm putting stuff in this group every day. And not only do I put stuff in this group, but the members post stuff in this group as well. So between me and the members, there's a ton of New York Giants information going in this group. Every day. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Please join it. You won't be dissatisfied. I promise. All that stuff sitting down that way. Well, got a lot of stuff. Had a lot of stuff going on tonight. A lot of stuff. OTAs. Going on, right? Day one of 10. Then after that, this is phase 3. Okay. Then they'll have that month off. And then they come back. It's on. It's on, guys. Unbelievable. I don't know. I mean, my mommy, she's no longer with us. God bless you, Mom. But she was, well, to me anyway, what she told me, she said it was right. Now, I don't know how old you guys are, but I remember when I was young, 7,000 years ago, when I was like 5, 6, 7, 8, or whatever, and like Christmas was coming, and I was just couldn't wait for Christmas. And say it was the beginning of December. Seemed like it took 900 years for Christmas to come when I was young. It was just like, but the older you get, it seems like the faster time flies by. And that's one thing my mom told me. Obviously, I don't know what she told me, maybe 10, 20 years or so ago. She's like, you think time flies now, just wait till you get older. And it's true. It's amazing. It really is. I mean, one of the things I just keep, I'm always want to, not that I'm doing amazing things or nothing like that, but I'm just keeping relatively busy. But it's just amazing, like how fast the time just flies by. I mean, it just seems like it was just, we were whooping up on the Eagles, right? And now here I am, I'm talking about OTAs and day one of OTAs. And after OTAs is over, you're going to have that month off. But that's when they come back from that month, training camp, preseason, and we're into, oh my God. So I guess if you're, I guess my point to this, or I guess if you're 20 years old or whatever like this, if you're still watching my video here, of course, as I'm talking, but I mean, maybe it just seems like, man, it's taking so long and all, but I mean, just for me, it just seems like it's flying by. It's amazing. I can't believe it. It's hard to believe that, right as of right now, we're in OTAs. By the time the OTAs once again says over, it's going to be in June. They're going to have that month off, right? And then when they come back, whew, man. The thing I like, I really like what they are doing though. Meaning as far as the 90-man roster. In a way, I feel a little bad for some of the players, meaning back when they had the 90-man roster after the first preseason game, they cut down 80, then they cut down to 70, then they had to cut down after the 30, they had to cut down, you know what I mean? So the thing is after they went from 90, just say down to 80, well, you had 32 teams, 10 players got let go, so that's 320 players hit the open market. So I feel bad for the players because you got 320, and it's like, the rosters are fluid. We're not locked in. So, so the Giants went out and saw a decent safety, just got let go. And they're like, we're a little thin in the safety department. Let's go after someone, you know what I mean? So they'd be able to bring the guys in and get them accoladed to the Giants, team, if they're going to keep the player and all that, and they would still have a couple weeks before the regular season started. The thing is that now, the thing I just don't like is that it's like after the I guess it's the final preseason game's over with, you got to let whatever it is, you go from 90 down to 53, so you got to let 37 players go, right? And then you got a ton of guys that flood the market. And obviously, if you're still weak in a certain area, hey, well, we can take this guy, we can bring this, so you bring some guy in and you let some guy go and all this stuff and everything. But then the guy has, is that much less time to try to, accolade himself to maybe making the team and all that and everything. So I did like it the way it was, in one specific way back when they said they used to let the guys go a little bit of time. I do like it now. Because the guys now they have a chance, especially if you're not going to play the starters much. So now you got 3 games. Basically, the one thing I did not like was, unless you had 90 guys on the roster, I'm sure, the coaches would be like, they even before the preseason game started, they're kind of like, yeah, this guy ain't making it. That guy's not making it. This guy ain't making it. I'm sure they had a list of guys that probably weren't going to make it. But what I really like now, okay, is that, especially once again, if you're not playing the starters much, you got a bunch of backups in there, second stringers, third, guys. They got 3 games. So what I didn't like before was, you were going to let 10 guys go after the first preseason game. So everybody I'm sure they tried to get everybody in the first preseason game, but you got to make a play. Okay. Make a play. All right. Well, say I'm the cornerback over here, and say they run the ball every play, and I'm supposed to be covering this guy man to man, and they run the ball every play. Say we're playing the Bengals, right? We're beating the Bengals 52-0. Doesn't happen. Not going to happen. Just bear with me here. Right? We're beating them, and the Bengal cornerback is covering whoever, right? And we're up 52-0. We're just running the ball, right? So, so they have the corner, the Bengals have their own cornerback covering our wide receiver man to man. So he's covering them. But what's that show? He's as soon as the ball snapped, he's running with the receiver down the field. Well, we're running the ball on every play. So what are you grading him at? He's not supposed to be coming up and making a tackle. He's running with the wide receiver who we're not throwing the football to. So some of the guys maybe get the shaft. I was like, well, make a play. Well, what if there's not plays there to be made? Or what? What if your only hope, right, would be like, oh, I gotta make a big play on the punt return. That's my way in. I gotta be a big, or if you're a gunner or whatever, it's just saying you're a punt returner. I got this one game. I gotta show what I can do. Return. Well, what if the other team only punts 3 times, and every time the guy kicks the ball 452 miles straight up in the air and it comes straight down? What are you going to do? Right? So I got in the game. I'm a punt returner. I'm trying to show that I can do as far as a punt returner, and I had a fair catch 3 balls. So what I like now is that, those other, everybody on the team is going to get plenty of ample opportunity, at least in 3 games, to at least try to show that you can make a play or so. Everybody's going to get at least a fair chance. So that's what I do like about that, keeping all the guys on the roster the whole time. And then once that final, game is over, everybody, a lot of guys. So I'm too stupid to think about, but so you got 32 teams letting 370 players go. That's over 1,000 guys. Just hitting the open market. So. Well, that's pretty cool. But, God, man, it's unbelievable. The OTAs are here already. It's wow. Man, crazy. But I saw this was, and it's not bad. This works out pretty good for the Giants. And you throw in the fact that the Giants got to fly to Munich. The Giants got it pretty good this year. As far as travel plans, not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. And I said, throwing the fact that, or if you take the fact out that we got to fly to Munich, it's like, wow. And the nice thing about it is that after we come back from Munich, we got a bye week. Right? That worked out really nice for the Giants this year. All right, so where did the Giants rank in air travel miles for the 2024 NFL season? Well, let's see here. Giants do not normally do a lot of traveling during the NFL season. In fact, they are among one of the least traveled teams in the league in recent years. 2024, they are scheduled to travel 19,295 air miles in the 8 road games, an average round trip of 2,411.87 miles, covering 20 time zones. That ranks them 16th in the league in terms of total travel. right square square dab in the middle. And I said, and that includes their 8,068 mile round trip and their 12 time zone trip to Munich, Germany. So their travel time, or the traveling, covers 20 time zones. All right. 12 of those time zones are going to come from one game. And when they come back, they're a little jet lagged, absolutely. Right. But they got their bye week, so they got plenty of time to recover. So actually, if you take and so they have 8 road games, so you take that out. So their other 7 road games, right? Basically, they're covering 8 time zones, which is right. Basically, it means a time zone there and a time zone back. I mean, so with this one from Germany, it was 12 time zones, meaning 6 time zones there, 6 time zones back. So other than that, they're only leaving 8 other time zones. So I mean, they got it pretty good. They really got it pretty good. Giants' longest road trip will naturally be their Week 10 jaunt to Munich, Germany, to face the Carolina Panthers. They will cover 8,068 miles in 12 time zones during that trip. 4 of the Giants' 8 road games to Philadelphia, Washington, Pittsburgh, and Cleveland cover just a grand total of 1,991 miles, or basically 2,000. Yeah. The other 3 road games on the Giants' schedule this year are Atlanta, Dallas, and Seattle. Now, the thing is, I mean, basically, right, if you look at Philadelphia, no time zone change. Washington, no time zone change. Pittsburgh, no time zone change. I think Cleveland, no time zone change. And Atlanta, no time zone change. So basically, out of their 7 other 5 of their 7 other road games, other than the Carolina Panther game, they have no time zone change. That's huge, really huge. They're so they have 8 time zones between Dallas and Seattle. Seattle is 3 time zones there, I believe, 3 time zones back. So that's 6. And then the one to Dallas is 1 time zone and 1 time zone back. So, I mean, they got it really pretty good. They really, really got it good. I said 5 of their 8 road games is in the same time zone. And then going down to Dallas is just 1 hour. That's no big deal. The big one would wind up being Seattle. So that's 3 time zones. And they got to travel 4,971 miles for that one game, is what it is. All in all, I'll tell you what, they really lucked out here. Really, really lucked out. I mean, as far as how far they're traveling, the time zones, basically they got 8 road games. They got 9 at home, 8 on the road. And it was the same thing, right? Was it last 2 seasons ago? They had 9 games at home, 8 on the road. One of those road games was against the Packers when they were across the pond, right? The Packers were the home team in Europe. Okay. Yeah. The Cheeseheads travel well, but guess what? So did the G-men. So did the Giant fans, right? And when the Giants are having a good season, we can be homers, right? I mean, we were showing up. The Cheeseheads show up no matter what. The Giants fans show up no matter what. So especially in Europe, we got a lot of fans over there too. But we had a very good season, and we showed up. We represented 2 seasons ago. So I mean, the thing was, that's what I love about that. When you got a game over there and you're the road team, you're both road teams. Right? I mean, it's like, come on, Okay, Green Bay, we're going to be playing in England. You'll be the home team. Oh, wow, cool. Yeah. No, you're both road teams. So 2 years ago, right, same thing as it is this season, right? Basically, the Giants had 8, and basically we only had like 7 road games, right? Same thing this season. And the thing I like about this is one of the road games, right? It's, is against Carolina in Germany. I'm certainly not saying we're walking in there, we're walking out with the W. I'm certainly, that's why any given Sunday you got to play the game. Carolina has some good players, we have some good players. You got to line up and play the game. Right now, the Giants might be favored as of right now, this, that, and the other thing and all that. But, I mean, as of right now, you feel it's certainly a winnable game. But the fact that it's a road game for us and it's a home game for them, it's fantastic. I love it. So, basically, we have 9 home games and 7 road games. That one, that's a toss-up, right? You do know in Germany we're gonna represent pretty good. That's for sure. So I really like the schedule. It's and I said that the nice thing about it, you got to give the NFL lots of credit. Maybe they kind of screwed us over a little bit last season, but you got to be pretty happy about it this season, right? And the schedule's very fair, very, very fair. And after the trip to Germany, we got a bye week. Very nice. You can't complain at all. Can't complain at all. We have minimal amount of primetime games. The only thing I just kind of like, well, two of them. It just really just kind of boggles my brain. And once again, it is what it is. What it is. They tell you where to go to play your football games. They tell you what time, what days. You just show up and you play. You show up and you play. Your opponent comes and shows up. It is what it is. But just the two things that just scratching my head up. Why are we playing the Cowboys 2 times? Is this the first time in history? 2 teams faced off against each other 2 times in the same season on a Thursday? I mean, not that they played Thursday games, because the Cowboys every year play 2 Thursday games. They got to play a Thursday night game, right? And then they play a Thanksgiving game. The Detroit Lions every year, they got to play a Thursday night game, and then they play a Thanksgiving game. My point is, is it the first time ever 2 teams faced off against each other in the same season, and both those games were on a Thursday? Just, no Cowboy Giants Sunday night, no Sunday, Monday night, no, man. Head-to-head 2 times against each other in the same season on a Thursday. Brings me to my next point with the Giants and the Cowboys. Why did we play the Cowboys on first same thing here? When was the last time the Cowboys, I have to go back and look, played the same team on Thanksgiving 2 times in a 3-year period? Usually what it's supposed to wind up being is, one year they play against the NFC, then they play against an AFC opponent, then they play the NFC opponent, then they play an AFC, so that they wind up doing that. Now, as I said, let me see here. It's going to take too long. It's going to just take too long to go and look. But it just boggles my brain. Why we just played the Cowboys 2 years ago on Thanksgiving? Why are we playing them again on Thanksgiving? That doesn't make any sense. Why are they not playing the Eagles or any one of their other teams? Why are they not playing any one of those the NFC? If they're supposed to be playing an NFC team, quite possibly, right? Why are they not playing one of the other NFC teams? I don't understand it. That just doesn't make that sense. I don't ever remember the Cowboys playing the same team 2 times on Thanksgiving within a 3-year period. This just doesn't make much sense to me. But once again, it is what it is. They tell you where to play. You show up. You play the games. It is what it is. But other than that, it's a very, very fair schedule for the Giants. Very fair. You can't complain. We had unfair traveling. We had 3 primetime games in a row. We played 13 games in a 15-day period. It was none of that. None of that. Very, very fair. Very fair. So, all right. Let's see here. Now, this one here, I seen this one. This was somebody shared this on in a Facebook group, and I saw it and I copied it, and I just it's a stat. This is from, I don't know. patent analytics, I guess it is. Data at FTN data. Patent analytics. I'm not sure. I don't know, but it shows the stat. Basically, yards left on the field by quarterbacks last season in 2023. Uncatchable passes when target was open, minimum of 150 attempts. Now, I'm not sure if that means it says uncatchable passes when target was open. So I guess it says uncatchable passes when the target was open. Now, so the target was open, and I guess he must have. I guess it means the quarterback must have thrown the ball to the targeted receiver, and it was just an uncatchable pass, I guess. So what they did was here they came up with a graph here, right? They got uncatchable passes when the target was open, minimum of 150 pass attempts last season. Then they got the one side of the graph says missed yards per attempt with no pressure, and then missed yards per attempt with pressure. Okay. Now, the Daniel Jones, I mean, by far, okay, leads the NFL. One time, I'm going to say this one more time, by far. I mean, you can't, I can't share my screen, so you can't see this graph, this chart here. I mean, but missed yards per attempt with no pressure. Looks like Josh Dobbs, Jimmy Garoppolo, and Baker Mayfield. Looks like missed yards per attempt with no pressure. Looks like they were like with no pressure. They were I don't know, yards left on the field by quarterbacks. Like I said, it looks like they're talking about like maybe 24 yards. Missed yards per attempt with no pressure. So no pressure on the quarterback, and they missed their targets. I guess that's what they're saying here. The passes were uncatchable passes when the target was open. I'm not sure how they figure this stuff out, but so Josh Dobbs, Jimmy Garoppolo, and Baker Mayfield with no pressure. It looks like the missed yards per attempt was 24 yards. I don't know. But Daniel Jones's his missed yards per attempt with no pressure is around like 33. Baker Mayfield, Jimmy Garoppolo, and Josh Dobbs are around 24. They're the second worst wave. Daniel Jones is all by himself at like number 30 at 33 yards. Somehow they figured this out. Missed yards per attempt with no pressure. I'm just kind of also wondering is this also including guys that were open down the field that maybe they didn't throw the ball to? Because Daniel Jones, I mean, we know, sometimes, especially when he gets a lot of pressure, he's not looking down the field, but this is with no pressure. So I don't know. I mean, 33 yards, missed yards per attempt with no pressure. Daniel, it's like 33 yards, it looks like. I mean, I don't know how the heck on earth that happened, but he's like by far the worst. Then he's not the worst here. Missed yards per attempt with pressure. That would be Sam Howell. He was with pressure. Guys coming, boring down on him, right? Daniel Jones wasn't that great, but Daniel Jones is at 18. Missed yards per attempt, meaning uncatchable passes when the target was open. So the missed yards per attempt when Daniel Jones had pressure, okay, it was 18. Now, there's a bunch of guys. C.J. Stroud was more than him. Actually, Dak Prescott was worse than him. Jalen Hurts was worse than him. Zappy of the Patriots was worse. Josh Allen was worse. Sam Howell was worse. So, yeah, I mean, you start looking like, oh, Jalen Hurts, he's so great and all. Well, no, not according to the stat here. When he has pressure, he's not too good. He's one of the worst. Missed yards per attempt when he has pressure. Now, let's not forget, the Eagles have a very good offensive line. So that doesn't mean Jalen Hurts never gets pressure. Does not mean that Jalen Hurts doesn't run for his life from time to time. Certainly doesn't mean that Jalen Hurts doesn't get sacked. Certainly does not mean that. What I do say, he has a very good offensive line, and he reaps the rewards of that quite a bit by quite often, not all the time, but quite often having a somewhat nice pocket to throw the ball to. But according to this right here, even Dak Prescott, okay, and Jalen Hurts. Dak Prescott a lot of times has a good offensive line. Jalen Hurts has a very good offensive line. So, these guys are so great. Well, I mean, if they had the offensive line, maybe that Daniel Jones did, these guys would really be freaking bad. Really be freaking bad. Now, Jalen Hurts, when he would get some pressure, right, is what, 1, 2, would be like tied for maybe fourth. The fourth worst, Jalen Hurts. Looks like he has, I'm thinking like about 19 yards. Somehow, I don't know exactly how it is. Missed yards per pass attempt when Jalen Hurts gets pressure. It says like 19 yards. Stroud was bad when he had pressure. Prescott was bad. Baker Mayfield was bad. Daniel Jones is around 18. Okay. So, I mean, there's a lot of guys, obviously, who do pretty bad, obviously, when they get pressure. Even Burrow is up there. Stafford's up there. Mahomes is up there. Mahomes is around 15. Daniel Jones is 18. But this is when you get pressure, okay? Sam Howell, by far, was the worst. He's around 24 with pressure. The thing that's bothering me about this chart here is with no pressure, missed yards per attempt with no pressure, Daniel Jones is like around 32 or 33. I don't know. I don't quite understand. So missed yards per attempt. So every time, I mean, these guys got to be kind of far down the field if he's at 33 yards, missed yards per attempt. But the thing is, it's bothered me that with no pressure, he is by far and away the worst guy. So one thing is that, quite possibly being maybe shell shocked, just being used to getting the ball, and he's just anticipation of maybe getting his neck, his head ripped off his body, which he almost had happen to him last season. So maybe quite possibly he's hurrying passes. He's like, oh, please turn around so I can throw the ball. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to get killed. They'll have to wait and see. It's going to be, once again, be very interesting to see, can Carmen Basillo work some magic with what we have as far as the offensive line, maybe help settle Daniel Jones down a little bit. Have to say. All right, what do we got here? Next one. Then we got the OTAs, baby. Lots of touchdowns, takeaways, and top plays as OTAs kick off. Now, I got a couple of articles here. This one's from Giants.com. Giants have entered the third and final phase of their offseason workout program at the Quest Diagnostic Training Center. Beginning on April 15th, the first phase consisted of 2 weeks of activities limited to meetings, strength and conditioning, and physical rehabilitation. The next 3 weeks included on-field workouts and drills, but no team offense versus team defense drills were permitted. With those 5 weeks in the rearview mirror, the team ramped things up on Monday with their first of 10 organized team practice activities, or OTAs, organized team activities. There was no live contact in this portion of the spring, but 7-on-7, 9-on-7, and 11-on-11 drills are permitted. It's always a major checkpoint on the calendar, as it is the first time of the year that the entire team lines up for practice. Very cool. All right, it says, oh, wait, who is this here? Who did this here? Dan Solomon. He said, here are the touchdowns, takeaways, and other notable plays from the day. Giants spent the majority of the 7-on-7, 11-on-11 team drills just outside the red zone. Running back Devin Singletary, a veteran off-season addition, got on the board with the first touchdown of the spring on a catch and run. Singletary has experience with Coach Brian Daboll on the offense, having spent his first 4 seasons in Buffalo before playing last year for Houston. Motor is a pro, Daboll said, using Singletary's nickname, Motor. Okay. shortly after the signing. He knows he only has to be motor. He's smart. He's tough. I thought he was productive. I think he's been productive since he's played. Really excellent teammate. We're happy to have him. And I just feel bad because we had Breida for a couple of years, and now we just, more on Breida in a little bit. But, I'm just kind of, it's like you got these guys, you bring them in for a year, and then you let them go, and then you replace them with somebody else. And then the person you replace them with, you might only have him for a year. You let him go, you bring somebody else in. It's like, all right. Takeaways. Cornerback Alex Johnson notched the first interception of OTAs during the team drills. The 6-foot, 185-pound undrafted rookie from UCLA led the Pac-12 with 5 interceptions in 2023. Other notable plays. Quarterback Daniel Jones, who underwent surgery to repair his torn ACL on November 22nd, took the next step in his rehab and participated in 7-on-7 drills. He completed passes to wide receivers Wan'Dale Robinson and Malik Neighbors. Yeah, baby. 2 of our freaking studs. Yeah, baby. Right? The 6th overall pick in the Malik Neighbors was the 6th overall pick in the draft. The hope has been to have Jones full go for training camp in the late July. Neighbors, LSU's all-time leader in receptions and receiving yards, had a productive first OTA and hauled in a handful of passes during 7-on-7 and 11-on-11 work. The latter came off of the arm of Drew Lock, who was added this offseason. Neighbors and Johnson weren't the only rookies that get off to a good start. Cornerback Drew Phillips, the 3rd-round pick from Kentucky, broke up a pass early in the first 7-on-7 period. He is part of an infusion of young talent into the secondary. The Giants also drafted safety Tyler Nubin, who set the University of Minnesota career record with 13 interceptions in the second when they drafted him in the second round. I got to meet Tyler the day after the draft when we both came up here, Phillips said at rookie minicamp. Got to meet that day a little bit. We went out to dinner. Since we've been here, we're in the same room. Very cool. We've both been in the playbook. Very good. So just able to talk football and get to know each other outside of that as well. Like I said, good relationship. He's vocal. I know I took my time in the playbook, but you hear him a lot of times in the back and he's yelling it. Sometimes you almost can't hear yourself calling out the plays. I can tell he's going to be a great player because of his knowledge and how he communicates on the field. I think it's a very, very good, quite possibly very underrated pick for the Giants in the second round. Right, Landon Collins, 2015. Right, Xavier McKinney. Landon Collins in the second round, 2015. Xavier McKinney, got him in the second round, right? And now we got Tyler Nubin in the second round as well. So always Xavier McKinney, I guess the 2020 draft, second round, right? 2020, 21, 22, 23, 4 years. He's gone. Yeah. So basically every 5 years, right? We got Landon Collins, 2015, 2020. We got Xavier McKinney, and in 2024. So we're, we've done relatively well picking. Oops, sorry, my leg. Oh, sorry, buddy. Try not to kick my dog, my buddy Manny here. But the interesting thing is, though, which you got to give some props to, right, is that we've done, I think, very, very well in the second round over the past from 2015, the past 10 drafts, right, 2015 to 2024. I think we've really done very well in the second round is picking up safeties in the second round, right? But it's been with 3 different GMs. Jerry Reese was in 2015. Dave Gettleman was in 2020, and now we got Joe Shane. So apparently, it looks like we might be 3 for 3 in the second round as far as picking safeties since 2015. Very excited about seeing Nubin out there. I'm not saying it's going to be Troy Polamalu or Ed Reed or nothing like that, or Ronnie Lott, or you know what I mean. But I think he's going to be a very fine addition to this defense. Let's see here. Tight end Theo Johnson, a 4th rounder out of Penn State, also got on the board with the reception. Then we got the remaining practices Tuesday, right? And then I guess Wednesday they're off, and then they got Thursday the 23rd, right? No, I'm sorry, Thursday. I'm sorry. So the remaining practices this week anyway is Tuesday the 21st and Thursday the 23rd. Then you got May 28, 29, May 31, June 3rd and 4th, June 6th and 7th, and then June 11th through 13th. So, then I got this other one here. It says New York Giants quarterback Daniel Jones works on 7-on-7s as OTAs begin. Daniel Jones took a huge step forward in his rehab from surgery from a torn ACL, a big step in defending his turf as the starting quarterback for the New York Giants on Monday. Just 6 months after surgery to repair a torn ACL suffered Week 9 of the 2023 NFL season against Miami, Jones took part in 7-on-7 drills as the Giants, their first of 10 on-field practices as part of Phase 3 of the offseason program, commonly referred to as OTAs. That news came from the team's official website after Monday's practice. The report said Jones completed passes to wide receivers Wan'Dale Robinson and Malik Neighbors. Jones did not participate in the 11-on-11 portion of the practice. Giants have said repeatedly throughout the offseason that Jones was on track to be ready for to open the season. And so far, and I'll tell you what, I said once, I don't want, I don't want to jinx nobody, nothing like that. But as I'm reading this stuff, because you always like down at the bottom, you always like looking, reading these articles. Oh, and by the way, so and so pulled up lame running a route and he got pulled off. And he went out on a stretcher and there's no word on him, or so and so ran into each other. One guy seemed to maybe possibly holding his head, possibly have a concussion. He might be. I'm not reading anything like that, thankfully, because we know the New York Giants and the word injuries just go kind of hand in hand. So we've had one OTA, and it looks like everybody came out relatively healthy. Thank you, sweet dear baby Jesus. Thank you. We got the plan is to be ready to go by training camp, Jones said at that time. That's when I'm shooting for and feel good about being ready. When the Giants signed Drew Lock, the feeling was that Lock would get the majority of the reps prior to training camp. In recent weeks, there has been increasing speculation that Lock could push Jones for playing time. Well, we'll have to wait and see. Monday was perhaps an indication that Jones will do everything possible to keep the job. Well, I'll tell you what, one thing is, absolutely. Absolutely. Is that, whether Daniel Jones, has a good season this year, it's great, it's bad, it's mediocre, it's whatever. You don't know, right? One thing you do know, right? You know there's death, there's taxes. In the morning, the sun rises. At nighttime, the sun sets. Things you know. Like if I got some gloves here. If I drop them, what are they going to do? They're going to fall down, right? Gravity, right? Things you know, right? You also know that Daniel Jones is going to do everything in his power, humanly possible, to be ready. As soon as humanly possible. He's not going home at nighttime, grabbing a 6-pack bag of Cheetos and watching Netflix for 7 hours. That ain't happening. He's doing everything humanly possible. You can guarantee on this. It's a lock to get rehab. So he's up and running as best and fast as he possibly can, and he's trying to get on target for the end of July training camp. So he's still got 2 months, which would be rather impressive. Everybody takes a different amount of time, but it would be rather impressive. The thing is, he could be ready, right? But how elusive is he going to have to wear a brace? Is he going to? Is he going to be hindered a little bit because they say usually from an ACL tear you can come back. Oh yeah, you can come back, sure. After one season, with modern medicine and the way the guys train and do everything they can to get back. Sure, you can get back in a year, absolutely. But the problem is you're usually a little bit slower. You're not quite the same athlete as you were 1 year after the surgery. 2 years after the surgery, you're good to go. If you make it that far, you're good to go. And sometimes, I don't know how, but you're hearing that some guys are even almost better. Yeah, thanks for the ACL tear. I'm better. Better than I was ever. You know what I mean? So it's going to be interesting to see how much does that hinder Daniel Jones, right? And then also, because what happened a lot, right? In 2022, Daniel Jones, the success we had now, of course, Saquon was in the backfield, right? But we had a lot of success when he was running the ball. Lots of success. Mixing in some pass, but the threat of him running, right? And of course, you got Batman and Robin back there, right? You got two threats back there. Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley, the threats of running the ball. Things that just worked out very well that year for the Giants. It's going to be interesting to see if Daniel Jones does win the job and all that stuff. How much are they going to ask him to run? And then the next thing is when he is told to run, how often does he just run out of bounds? If somebody's within 35 yards of him, or when somebody's within 35 yards of him, does he stop, with the contact? We don't need any additional contact there, Daniel. If you can get 3 yards without getting hit, get 3 yards and get down. If you can get 3 yards without getting hit and you can run out of bounds, right? No contact. Unless you're trying to win the Super Bowl and it's you and you one-on-one and there's 3 seconds left to go in the game. And if you run this cornerback over and you can get into the end zone, you win the Super Bowl. Then go for it, brother. Go for it. Other than that, if it ain't needed, get down, get out of harm's way. So it'll be interesting to see. Very interesting to see. All right, then we got a little more OTA takeaways here. The Giants got back on the field Monday to begin organize OTAs, right? Through the media. This is from Sporting News. Though the media was not at Monday's OTA session, the Giants did release some notes from the first practice during Phase 3 of the offseason. The media will be in attendance for the third OTA session on Thursday. So Monday and Tuesday, no media. So we got, obviously, once again, Daniel Jones. The Giants starting quarterback was on the field participating during the 7-on-7 drills, working with wide receivers Malik Neighbor and Jalin Hyatt. Cool. That's what you like to see. He completed a pass to Malik Neighbors. It looks like he was talking or throwing the ball to at least Wan'Dale Robinson, and he's on the field with Jalin Hyatt. That could be the Fab 3 right there, right? It was encouraging after missing the second half of the season due to torn ACL. Just nice to have the guy on the field. Now, whether unfortunately, the way it is that some people don't like Daniel Jones, and if Daniel Jones leads, it's not going to happen. If Daniel Jones leads us to the next 342 straight Super Bowls and we win them all, right? People out there like, he sucks. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, but. It's, once again, whether you like the guy, you hate the guy, it's like there's like no middle ground. You like him, you despise him, right? But it's just nice to see that he's back out there running around throwing. That's good for him, man. I'm happy for him. Really, really happy for him. Once again, I said, what's going to happen this season? Who knows? That's why you got to play the games, right? But it's just nice to see the guy back out there. I mean, Christ, the last couple of visions I have of him, right? He's laying on the ground against the Raiders. So his season's over with. Or when he got his head taken off in the Miami Dolphin game. I mean, the pictures from him, the visions I have in my head of him from last season are not pretty. A lot of them, it's not even so much the pick six or whatever, or the Dallas debacle or nothing like that. It's just him getting just creamed time and time again. You felt bad for the guy, but then again, it's life in the NFL. Sometimes you want $40 million. I'm not saying this is. you want $40 million, so you deserve to get injured. I'm certainly not saying that, but I mean, things happen. It is what it is. But I'm very. It's nice to see him. Really happy for the guy. Really happy for him. He's back out on the field, competing, doing what he loves to do. So, all right, Daniel, this is your big chance, brother. Your big chance. You got like 13 guys on your roster who have rockets up their rear ends. They're that freaking fast. Okay, if we can protect you a little bit, right? We got some weapons for you. Let's see what you can do. All right. Let's see. Dean Solomon on the team's website said quarterback Daniel Jones, who went on the surgery, but he completed passes to wide receivers Wan'Dale Robinson and Malik Neighbors. Malik Neighbors shined. Jones also was moving well and had zip on his passes, according to John Schmelk on the team's website. John Schmelk was with Big Blue Kickoff Live. It's Lance Meadows, John Schmelk, and Paul Dottino. Paul Dottino, he's like the Encyclopedia Britannica. You ask him anything from like the 60s on, especially basically the last 40 years. He knows like almost everything of what happened to the Giants because he's been with the Giants for about 40 years. But John Schmelk's really good, and Lance Meadows really, really good. But John Schmelk, because they're at the practices, right? These guys, Lance Meadows, I'm not sure. Paul Dottino and John Schmelk, they're at the practices, all the practices. They see everything, right? So John Schmelk said Jones also was moving well, and he had some zip on his passes. Cool. Very cool. Let's see. They did some red zone work. According to Solomon, the majority of the work during team drills took place right outside the red zone. I read about that already. Giants had one of the worst red zone offenses in the NFL during the 2023 season, converting just 44.2% of their trips inside the 20-yard line into touchdowns. You can't have that. It's got to be at least 50%, if not more. Actually, more. 60% would be even better, obviously. But that was a far cry from Brian Daboll's first season when the offense had the fifth highest rate at 64.8%. That was huge. When they got in 2022, when they got inside the red zone, they made it count. They scored touchdowns. Can't settle for field goals. Yeah. Let's see here. Undrafted free agent rookie makes an impression. According to Solomon, the first interception, okay, obviously said Alex Johnson grabbed it from UCLA, grabbed the pick. And, of course, then we said Schmelk also knows that third-round pick Andrew Phillips had a pass breakup. So it's good. I mean, once again, this is, you can't take anything. Oh, my God, yeah. Andrew Phillips had a pass breakup. He's an all-pro this year. Yeah, they got a long way to go. But it's just nice to hear the guys' names. Guys did this or guys did that. They're on the field, and I'm not reading nothing. So-and-so pulled up lame or somebody pulled a hamstring. I'm not reading any of that crap. So, thankfully, right? It's great. It's just nice knowing that the whole team is on the field. Freaking awesome. Love it. All right. Now, talking about, this is almost close to, now the difference here is that when they started this, they were the Redskins, okay? But Giants got 3 first-round picks on their front wall. They didn't draft them all, though. The Redskins did draft them, all right? I'm going to go back. It was 2017. They took Jonathan Allen. They took back-to-back Bama guys, right? 2017, they took Jonathan Allen. In 2018, they took Daron Payne. Back-to-back defensive tackles in the first round from Alabama. Jesus, Jiminy frickin' crickets. You take one stud at defensive tackle, the next year you take another. That starts right in the trenches right there. It's hard to beat that thinking, right? Then, of course, they took Montez Sweat in 2019, and then they took Chase Young in 2020. So 17, 18, 19, 20. The only kind of curveball in there, whatever it was, in 2019, they had 2 first-round picks, and they took Dwayne Haskins from Ohio State, who's, just was not who they thought he was going to be. That was a bad pick there. Bad pick. But I mean, the front four that they took was Jonathan Allen, Daron Payne, Montez Sweat, and Chase Young. Chase Young's phenomenal. Just he obviously had his injuries, but that front. But the 4 first rounders, they drafted them all. The Giants obviously didn't draft all of these guys, but they drafted Kayvon. We got Sexy Dexy. Now we got Brian Burns. 3 first-round picks on that front wall, right? And this is from the New York Post. Giants' new pass rush trio sees sky's the limit with Bond already growing. So they're already kind of like bonding together. Cool. Standing not far from a couple of former players who sacked Tom Brady in Super Bowl victories, Brian Burns demonstrated that he had brushed up on Giants history in the 2 months since he was the centerpiece of a blockbuster trade. He said the Giants are known for having a lot of pass rushers, right? A lot of great pass rushers, Burns interjected. Good point. So how can he, Kayvon Thibodeau, and Dexter Lawrence, 3 former first-round draft picks, be a trio that continues the tradition started by Lawrence Taylor and Leonard Marshall and continue with Michael Strahan? Justin Tuck, O.C. Human, and J.P. Paye. That is soon to be found out, Burns said. As of right now, we're just trying to get better every day with our combined status. The sky is the limit. We can really do anything. And we're all young, so hopefully it's for years to come. They said what I would really, really love, really freaking love, really, really, one more time, really, really love would be like next year. You either get a free agent or a first round, somebody early, a defensive to put next to Sexy Dexy. Then you got Burns, you got Kayvon, you got Sexy Dexy, and because you got Burns, right, for 5 years. You just redid Sexy Dexy, so he's here for a while. This is going to be Kayvon's 3rd year, right? And then you got, then you have his 4th year. You're going to pick up his 5th year option. So you got him for at least 3 more years. And Sexy, I don't even want to say this, but he's not getting any younger. He's right now in his prime. Let's see if we get a stud of a defensive tackle to put next to Dexter Lawrence. See where I'm going? You know what I mean? Burns and Kayvon and the 2 defensive studs, that front wall, especially because what Bowen likes to do, especially, and it's tough, especially if you're trying to get a defensive tackle. Bowen likes to stop the run and also rush the quarterback with the front 4, right? So, if you're going to get a defensive tackle to be able to do a very good job stopping the run and be able to rush the quarterback like a Sexy Dexy, that's got to be an early pick. Chances are you're not picking somebody like that up in the 3rd or 4th round. If you take a defensive tackle in the 3rd round, you might be able to take somebody who's really nice and stout or whatever, who might be really good against the run. This guy just takes up space. You ain't moving this mofo, Or you might get somebody who's light and quick, who's got good hands, and he can, maybe whatever, take on a guard, get around him or something. Maybe he's good at getting some pressure on the quarterback, but he's a little light. So if they get a double team on him or something like that, he's gone. You know what I mean? So chances are, if you want, I said, I would love this because you get that front wall there. It all starts in the trenches. Let's complete the freaking wall. Right, we got 3 of the 4 pieces. Let's get piece number 4 next year in the draft or in the free. The problem is in free agency, if you're going to do that, you can possibly find, but you're paying some do-re-mi for that. And Giants got a lot of money tied up in that do-re-mi tied up in that line, right? So the best thing to do would be they're going to add to that line would be in the draft where the guy's a lot cheaper. He's a lot younger and he's a lot cheaper, right? I said I would absolutely love it if they can finish off that front 4. I said, I guess Sexy's, once again, he's not over the hill. He's right square dab in his prime. But, let's get somebody next to him who can really help him out. That's what I'm saying. It wouldn't be like, now pick your poison. Who you double teaming? You're going to double team him? You can't double team 4 guys, right? Good luck, right? That would be fantastic. Really, really fantastic. Let's see here. Burns and Thibodeau arrived together Saturday at the Dexter Lawrence Celebrity Softball game. They raised $60,000 for the St. Christopher's Incorporated to aid disadvantaged youth. Very, very nice. A crowd of about 2,000 people clamored for the attention of Burns, Thibodeau, and Lawrence as much as any of the championship-winning Giant alumni in hand. Now, Burns said, to see the love and feel the energy they are giving us, Burns said that they've got big expectations for this team. So I'm excited. That's good. Now, and I had forgotten all about this. How cool is this? Burns was pick number 16 in the 2019 draft, right? He was drafted one pick ahead of Sexy Dexy. Burns was pick 16, Sexy Dexy's pick 17. Two freaking studs, the 2019 draft, right? And then you sprinkle in a little Kayvon. Man, we got 3 out of 4. Really, very, very impressive. Thibodeau, 23, is coming off of a breakout 11.5 sack season in his second year as a pro and has attached himself to Burns' hip, whether in the weight room or on off-field fishing trips. So they're hanging out together. So that's freaking awesome. You freaking love it. Yeah, I mean, getting to know one another. That's the guys hang out together. They know what they're thinking. Now, obviously, they're outside. They can almost think, either one thing, and they got to start performing like that on the field and all. But that's fantastic. 2 young freaking stud defensive, whatever, edge rushers, defensive ends, whatever you want to call them, right? Hanging out with one another. That's freaking awesome. Gotta love it, man. Gotta love it. They're going to make each other better. They're going to make each other better. Fuck. Love it. Love it. So, all right. And then let's see. Oh, now here. I can't really see the Giants. There's maybe 2 guys on this list. Now, according to this here, there's still 12 former Giants from last season that are still free agents. And I said, I can see maybe 2 of these guys, maybe, possibly, especially if Darren Waller were to retire. The Giants don't have a lot of salary cap space right now. If Waller were to retire, and I think they let him go, I think after June 1st, I think it is. So he might come up and say, I'm ready to retire, and the Giants cut him. So it might be like maybe 10 days to 2 weeks or so. Maybe he might come out with an announcement, I'm going to retire, because he's not at OTAs. And once again, it's voluntary. So you're not going to hear nothing about, where's Darius Slayton at? He's not, yeah. It's voluntary, all right? But the thing is with Darren Waller, okay, if they let him go, I think after June 1st, I think they're going to save like about $11 million. I think Patty Traynor was talking about that from Locked On Giants. So that would give him, give him a little bit of money. Maybe not so much to maybe go out and get a boomer of a free agent who might be still out there. But it would give them enough money to probably last the season, right? Because you got guys on the practice squad, you got to bring them up, and whatever. You might have to get somebody off the street, bring him in, and whatever. So I mean, they could say they got about $2 million, I think, in salary cap money as of right now. And then with Darren Waller, that would give them, save some money with Darren Waller, that would give them quite possibly enough money to last the season, right? And so they may not have to touch anybody like Bobby Okereke's contract, Andrew Thomas's contract. They can maybe leave those guys alone. So we'll have to wait and see. But as I said, at least 12. I said, maybe, and one of them is a money problem. One of them might be the money issue. Right, so we got here 12 Giant free agents who remain unsigned as OTAs begin. Now, first one, of course, is Adoree Jackson. Now, the thing is here, now I don't know if it's a I mean, that they just might have maybe, quite possibly, maybe made their mind up. It might be just also a money thing. They just right now, they don't have the money. The thing is that if they're going to bring Adoree Jackson back for multiple years, okay, I'm just throwing numbers out there. I'm pulling this out my ass, right? I'm just throwing numbers. So I talked about this the other night. They said, say they bring for 3 years, $30 million, $10 million a season. Well, what they can do this season is get his cap hit to come down. So they're not paying him $10 million a season. They give him a signing bonus, prorate that out over the length of the contract. And so then maybe this season they were to bring Adoree Jackson back for, say, a 3-year deal. This year, maybe his cap hit, they bring it down. It might be $4 million, maybe $5 million. They would have to maybe restructure some money on, I said, like maybe Andrew Thomas or Bobby Okereke, right? But they could afford it. They move some money around. They could do that. If they bring him back for one season, the problem is that they bring him back for $10 million. That he's going to have to pretty much be paid, unless they're going to put like void years or on the end of the contract or something, which would be kicking money down the road, which he really doesn't want to do either. I mean, if they're paying 1 year $10 million, say $7 million guaranteed, well, that's, for the most part, a lot of that money's got to come out this season, and they don't have that much money. So it's a conundrum, shall we say, right? They want to bring him back. I mean, because Bowen was there, right, with Adoree Jackson in Tennessee. So we've seen him. Now, it might be good. That might be bad. Shane might have gone to him and said, hey, you might like Adoree Jackson, but we just don't have the do-re-mi to bring him back. So I don't know how, you're never going to know. Is Bowen going balls to the wall to try to get Adoree Jackson here? And Shane just saying no. Does Bowen say no? I don't want the guy. He's not that good of a run defender. Or I don't. That stuff you're never gonna know. But do they really want him? I don't know. I said once again, they don't have the money. Maybe they do want him, but there's the Adoree Jackson wants whatever. $14 million a year, and the Giants are thinking more like $6 million. There's a huge gap. You know what I mean? So, Adoree Jackson wants to play football. He wants to get paid, right? So possibly the father, if the longer he's out there, the longer he's available, sometimes his price might come down a little bit. I want to play this season. He's only 29, I think it is. I want to play. What are you going to offer me? 6? Okay. I'll take it. Okay. I got, so we'll have to wait and see. So once again, we can certainly use, Adoree, he's not Deion Sanders. He's not a lockdown corner. He's not the greatest, coming up and making tackles as with the run defense. But he's a very good, solid corner, right? So we'll have to wait and see. He's still out there, still a possibility. But I said, quite possibly money could be the issue with him. Right, so we'll have to wait and see. The next guy here, out of the 12. All right, then we start here. We start getting into the offensive line category. Mark Lewinsky. That's not happening. We brought in. This is going to be a theme here. The offensive lines players here. Okay, we've got Mark Lewinsky, Justin Pugh, J.C. Hassenauer. Now, obviously, he got injured. I'm not sure how. I don't even know if he's able to play, if he's back fully. That I don't even know. But he got injured. Tyree Phillips. I don't think he's even possibly ready to play right now, and that's why he's not on anybody's roster. He's another offensive lineman. Wyatt Davis. He got injured. Once again, I don't even know if he's even available to play. He might still be rehabbing. That's why he's not on a roster. But I said Wyatt Davis. Then we got Sean Harlow, right? I mean, what we got here. So those offensive linemen we spent a lot of money in free agency. We didn't draft one, but we brought in a lot of free agents. We got guys coming back. We got Azudu, coming who was maybe injured. McKeithen had the knee, it was injured. He's rehabbing all that stuff. But we got a lot of offensive linemen. So on this list here, like Harlow and Hassenauer and Tyree Phillips and Glowinski and Pugh, I mean, we're not bringing any of those guys. And we got so many guys. We're going to have to let some of these guys go. We have too many guys. Right, so I can't possibly see us bringing back any of these offensive linemen. Now, the next guy here is a guy who was a little bummed out that we left, had to leave, but it is what it is, Matt Breida, right? But once again, we got a lot of running backs. Okay, yeah. We're right now we're looking at it's like, well, who's not going to make the team, right? Corbin, right? Brightwell, Eric Gray. We got Tracy, we got Singletary. The other guy was Phillips, the guy who has got the rocket up his butt. I mean, we got a bunch of running backs, and I can't see bringing Breida back. That doesn't make we got enough running backs. We're gonna have the guys that we got all ain't gonna make the roster / or the practice squad. A couple of these at least one of the guys that we got right now are going to be gone. At least one. Meaning that they're not going to make the 53 or the practice squad. So we got too many running backs. It's not a bad thing. Especially we're going to go running back by committee this season. So you get some fresh bodies in there. Right? I'm fine with that. Hurt me to see Saquon go, especially to the Eagles, but hurts. But it is what it is. Football's football. But we're going to go by the running back by committee. So that way you have some fresh guys coming in, some fresh legs in there. Right. All right. Then after that, then we got, let's see, there's a couple of these guys here. No. Okay. Jared Davis, that linebacker. We got so many linebackers, right? I mean, it's almost like, we got Musal, right? But then we brought, we still got McFadden. Darian Beavers is coming back. Isaiah Simmons, Bobby Okereke. It's kind of like we brought Carter Coughlin back. So it's kind of like we just got too many guys, which is a good thing. Cool. So we have a couple nice starters, but then we got guys. We got some depth there. Now we still got a ways to go here before we got a complete roster. But we're starting a couple of these positions. We're starting to have some nice starters and some nice depth. That's the key, the nice depth, right? The one thing is bothers me with the Eagles, okay? The one thing, everything bothers me about the Eagles. I get a rash. I get diarrhea just thinking about the Eagles, right? I get a rash in my rear end. I got a scratch. Just thinking about the word Eagles makes me want to vomit. But the thing is with them, okay, is that they've been very, good for them. But they've been relatively healthy over the past couple of seasons. No question about it. Very good. I mean, their defense was, a little susceptible last season, but their offense, very good, very sound. They didn't have a lot of injuries. Okay. They went out this year. They brought in a bunch of 7,000 free agents. Obviously, Saquon Barkley. They brought DeVonta Smith. They gave him a contract. AJ Brown, and so they're spending. They went straight to girly world. Wee! Look at us, Howie Roseman. Wee! Spending the big bucks. They got all these big names and all that stuff in there. The thing is that if some of these big names were to get injured, what kind of depth do you got? How's your second string looking? You can't spend $315 trillion on every one of your starting players and have unbelievable quality backup as well. That doesn't work. So I'm kind of interested if that ever happens. I mean, that's the one important thing because we've seen with the Giants, right? We don't have a complete roster. And then when we start getting decimated by injuries, what kind of depth do we have, right? It hasn't been super spectacular, but we're starting, some of the positions we're starting to get some, like inside linebacker, right? We got a lot of guys. Cool. Right. But I said, so, for us to wind up bringing back Davis, I mean, Jared Davis, that he's not coming back. The other guy here is Jacob Eason, quarterback. If we didn't bring him back by now, we're not bringing him back. I mean, unless one of these guys gets injured or something like that, I have a hard time thinking we're going to bring him back. What we got here? Then they have, obviously, they got Sterling Shepard. I love me some Shep. He can be on the team anytime, but, they didn't use him a lot last season. And we brought in Malik Neighbors. Hopefully not, unless we get totally decimated by injuries at the wide receiver position. I could see them calling up Shep halfway through the season if we're down like 5 wide receivers or something, or 4 or 3, whatever. I could certainly see him. If he's in shape, Shep will give you $1 million. You want to come on back and play? Yeah, you know what I mean? I could see that, but if he's still out there, right now, and once again, we brought back Hodgins. We drafted Neighbors. Bryce Ford Wheaton's coming back. We brought in a couple undrafted free agents. I can't see Shep, making the cut, going after Shep. Right. And then the only other one I could see is maybe possibly going after, maybe. And let us, this will be like number one for me. Not as far as it would make me excited, but kicker Randy Bullock. Okay, like now if Gano comes back and he's maybe not 100%, maybe I don't know, whatever. I don't know. Because Bullock wouldn't cost a lot of money. If Graham Gano were to have some type of maybe a little setback or something like that or whatever, I could see maybe going out and getting Bullock because we had him last season. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But as far as those 12 free agents, I mean, I don't see any big need for any of them. I said, maybe Adoree Jackson, but the Giants don't have much money right now, and so even if they did want Adoree Jackson, unless they're restructuring contracts, I'd have a hard time seeing the Giants trying to bring Adoree Jackson back. Yeah, because they can only offer him so much, and he's still in his prime. I'm sure according to him, he's still a young pup. He's not 30 yet. He's going to want some money. I don't blame him. Even if he's not the number one cornerback, he's still going to want to get paid. And the Giants just don't really right now have the money to pay much of anybody. All right, guys, it's been 1 hour and 17 minutes. Whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching the replay, just once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. Thank you. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.